Okay, this video is how to graph inequalities on a number line. We've already learned how to read inequalities that are graphed already on the number line, and this video is going to show us how to do the graphing. You will need your inequality foldable as well as your inequality homework packet. So if you do not have those two things, please pause the video and get them. Okay, let's start with the foldable. Go ahead and open up your foldable and you'll see a section, the top section says to graph the inequalities on the number line and describe the possible solutions. So the first one is x is less than 3. We need to place a circle on our 3, but we need to determine if it is an open circle or a closed circle. Since x cannot be equal to 3, it will be an open circle. So we're going to draw an open circle on 3, and now we're ready to draw our x solution line. Since x is less than 3, all of possible solutions will be to the left of 3, so we're going to draw our line to the left of 3. And go ahead and write down some possible solutions that x could be. X could be 2.5. X could be -1, it could be -3, it could be -5, as long as it is less than 3. Okay, your next one is x is greater than 3. So again, we need to draw our circle on 3. Because it cannot be equal to 3, it will be an open circle. And this time, our arrow line is going to go to the right, because the values for x are greater than 3. So those values could include 4, they could include 3.1, they could include 5, 25, anything as long as it's larger than 3. X is less than or equal to 3. Because we have the equal sign this time, our circle is going to be a closed or a filled circle. So we're going to draw that at 3. And then it says x is less than, so all of the values that are less than 3 are to the left of 3. So our x value line will be drawn to the left of 3. Possible solutions could be -1, it could be -3, -5. It could also be 3 because it can be equal to 3. In our last example, x is greater than or equal to 3. Because of the equal, we will have our closed circle on 3, and greater than values go to the right of 3. So you draw your line to the right. Possible values. 3 is a possible value. 3.5 is a possible value. 10. Anything as long as it's equal to or larger than 3. And remember, all of the values between the whole numbers are parts. So parts are also solutions, which is why I've been saying the fractions and the decimals. If you need to, pause the video so that you have your foldable filled out. Okay, we're just going to do some examples for graphing on a number line. Sometimes you are given the pre-numbered number lines, sometimes they are blank number lines, and you have to number them. Let's look at the first example. You have a blank page at the end of your packet. You can do these examples there. I'm going to skip number 1 because we already did number 1 on the first page. So we're going to start with number 2. X is greater than -5. So we're going to start on our number line by identifying -5. So we're just going to write -5. And what I would like to see is one value greater than -5 and one value less than -5. So if I go greater than -5, I could say -4. Less than -5 would be -6. Okay, now that I have my number line numbered, you don't need to continue, that's enough numbers. We're ready to graph the inequality. Start with your circle. X is greater than, it's not equal to, so our circle is going to be an open circle. We're going to place that and draw that at -5. And x is greater than, so the arrow line goes to the right. Go ahead and label it X over the line. That shows that this line represents the variable x. Okay, let's go on to example number 3. X is less than or greater than -7. So we're going to start with -7. One value greater than would be -6. A value less than would be -8. And we are ready to go ahead and place our circle. Because x is equal to -7 or can be equal to -7, we want a closed circle, one that is filled. X is less than, which means our x value line needs to go to the left. And we're going to label that as x. And we have graphed the inequality x is less than or equal to -7. And the last example, x is greater than or equal to 9. So let's go ahead and do our numbers on the number line. We're going to want 9. Whoops. A value larger than 9 could be 10. A value less than would be 8. And now we're ready to graph. Starting with 9 in our circle, because we do have this equal line here, we want a closed or filled circle at 9. And then x, the alligator mouth is eating x, so that means that x is the greater value. All values greater than 9. So there's our x value line, and label it x. So this is the inequality x is greater than or equal to 9. Okay, go ahead and draw the inequalities for these 5 problems. Once you've finished, then come back and check your work. Okay, here are the graphed inequalities. Pause the video. Check to see that you've graphed them correctly. Okay, tonight's homework, page 5 in your packet. You're going to be doing the same thing that we've been doing in this video. You're going to graph the inequalities. So if you look at the example they provided for us, x is greater than or equal to 9. You'll see, because of the equal sign, that we need a closed or filled circle on 9. The alligator is open, it's eating the x, so the x values are larger than the 9. So your x arrow line should move to the right, as you can see here, and then label it with the variable x. And this will be due tomorrow.